Hello and welcome to a look at Ski or Die for the Commodore 64, a game that was released by Electronic Arts. As you can likely gather from the title, this is a sort of spiritual successor sequel thing to the legendary Skate or Die. Rodney has parked up his skateboard and set up a ski shop, which only purpose is for you to have a place to sign in so you can qualify for the high score list in compete mode. The game allows you to play 1 to 6 players, and if you should play by yourself, the game will be behaving slightly different in certain events. You also have the option to disable the music if you so desire, but for the purpose of this video, I will just leave it on. Compete mode is the only mode to play this game, even though some practices might have been in order, but we shall go complete. I was about to say compete. Well, complete. Yeah. And we are sent out in the front, and we will be in control of our little skier thing. There he is. And just like in Skate or Die, you choose which um, game mode you want to compete or practice in. And of course, for the purpose of the video, I'll be competing in everything. I will compete everything. Oh, no mind. First option is Snowball Blast, which is a game mode in which you are facing off against a bunch of youngsters trying to snow you in your snow fortress, and you have to smack them with snowballs. If you should manage to hit 60 hits with snowballs, you will go to a higher level. But if you are playing multiple players, then each player will have 60 seconds to hit as many hits as they can. You have various different pickups like the shovel that will help dig you out, the star which will give you snowball casting, throwing, auto fire, and bunches of snowballs which will replenish your ammunition. I don't know what to think of this event. This event, more so than anything else, feels like Electronic Arts really wanted to have their own Operation Wolf, and you can argue that they have obtained that in this particular event. Of course, you get a rating after every event, and yeah, I'm competing against myself. So it's very, very hard for me not to win. But next up is Acro Aerials. You have to slide down a jump ramp, and once you have done so by using various different joystick combinations and fire button use, can do various different spins and uh, somersaults and all sorts of things. And depending on your landing, um, you will be rated based on the landing itself, of course, but also of uh, the concerning the difficulty of the trick you're trying to do. The rundown of the ramp can seem a bit slow, but that is actually because you can wiggle your joystick sensitively in order to gain more height for the jump itself, giving you more time to do more tricks. It's an event that works perfectly okay, but in all honesty, I think Winter Games did this significantly better a few years earlier. So, onwards to the next event, Snowboard Halfpipe, in which you have a very long snowboard halfpipe that you can use to try and score points by doing various different tricks and stunts. If you look at the top left side middle of the screen, you will notice a box with a green dot in. That is the most important thing for this event because that is your speed indicator, and You have three different speed settings, and depending on what speed you are in, you have access to various different tricks. Obviously, the highest speed will give you access to the most complicated tricks, but it will also um, be more challenging to land correctly after doing the tricks. In order to build up speed, you have to slide up the sides of the ramp. I suppose it's supposed to be somewhat curved, but yeah, I don't know whether the graphics is enough to give the illusion of curvature, but score points, do tricks, don't bump into locks, and try to stick the landings, and listen to Rodney's comments, which are supposed to be funny, and I don't really know if I think his comments are particularly funny. This event is a 2-minute event, and you can lightly imagine that if you play a 4-6 player game, this could be an interesting um, coffee break time for the other players. Not special in any way, shape, or form, and not particularly exciting in all honesty. I found this event to be far too long and far too tedious. But that is nothing compared to the next event which we get to experience, which will be downhill. You are dropped at the top of a mountain and has to ski down the side of the mountain and do jumps and try to avoid crashing and all that good stuff. And the event is actually long enough that it needs to load the second half of it, which I find a bit jarring for a Commodore 64 game. Once you do tricks, you do tricks by when you reach a jump, hitting the fire button and do a direction on the joystick, but you need to make sure to let go of the fire button so you actually land after doing the trick instead of landing with your legs spread wide. I don't think that is particularly healthy. Beyond that, just try to complete the course as quickly as you possibly can, and your final score is based around the time it took you and, of course, whatever tricks you managed to do successfully. The most enjoyable part about this event I find to be the skier snapping his staves when your performances are not particularly good. That leads us to the next event, which is the final event, Inner Tube Trash. Apparently, Rodney has found some old uh, tires and taken out the inner tubes and inflated them, and decided that having two people sit in those and run down this track thing could be good fun. But I suppose he can't know everything, can he? Let's cover the technical side, which is going to be somewhat lightly breezed over because I don't think there's an awful lot to talk about. The graphical side is passable. That is the best word I will give, or you will use in relation to the graphics. The detail level is acceptable. I find in certain events the graphics are extremely barebone and not particularly impressive. And even though comparing this to the Skater Die is perhaps not fair, it is something that is unavoidable because they are related in some way, shape, or form. And from a graphical point of view, compared to Skater Die, this game falls so far short, it's not even funny. The same can be said for the sound. They've Warhol did the sound and music for this particular game, and while it's not necessarily bad, it just doesn't have the spirit or the rhythm or funkiness of the were puppet tunes from the original game, and as such, again, I personally find that the sound side of things is far more enjoyable in Skate or Die than in this particular title. The controls are incredibly tight, especially on the downhill section. It takes very, very little for you to ski over the side of the um, slope you are trying to navigate, and it can feel extremely frustrating and generally very, very sluggish. People have said that this game is much more interesting in playing with other players, and my personal experience with this game wasn't very positive. I found it to be incredibly bland and boring. But what do I know? I didn't play with other people, so it might be remotely fun in that regard. Though for current generation of players it may be hard to believe, there was actually a time where Electronic Arts took a great pride in delivering quality products for the various different systems they were making games for. And in that regard, I would say Ski or Die falls far too short for my liking. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye bye for now.